Okay, so hello Pascal, how are you?
Hello. Yeah, I'm fine. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming. Why don't you introduce us? Talk a little bit about yourself. What's your job and what do you do?
Yeah, so my name is Pascal, and currently I'm a software developer. So I've been programming since 2010, and I'm also working professionally since 2016. And currently I'm mostly doing front-end development, sometimes also back-end, and well, depending on what I need to do, what the company needs, I'm also doing other things. But yeah, I'm mostly front-end development. Sometimes also doing UX design, but it depends what my company needs.
That's really interesting. So like, how did you end up in that career, and like, why were you interested in it?
Yeah, so actually started in high school. Initially, I wanted to study something like physics or chemistry. That's also some fields that I was really interested in. But I had for my math classes, I got a calculator, graphic calculator, and on the graphic calculator, we could program stuff on it. And so I was a bit curious. I started to play around with a calculator, and the language it used was actually similar to BASIC. But then I was a bit curious, and I wanted to see how we can program stuff on a computer, on a PC. I noticed that there was a lot of similarities, and it was actually easier than I thought it would be. So initially, I expected programming to be very math heavy, very complicated stuff, but it's only mostly just algorithms. So just translating algorithms into different languages, and I found it interesting. So I started learning the C language. That was in 2009, 2010. And I started working on like Windows applications, and it was very basic stuff, like maybe I don't know, like an image loader or basic calculator on Windows. That's something I really enjoyed working on, and because I found it so interesting, I decided to study computer science. That was in 2011. So after I finished high school, and yeah, that's where we are now.
Wow. Um, so you mentioned before you work a little bit in Germany and I believe in France.
Mhm.
So what's the work culture like? Do you collaborate a lot, or do you work together?
Yeah, so I worked actually in two companies so far, one in France and one in Germany. In France, I noticed that the work culture was a bit different compared to Germany. So when I was working in France, I was working for an IT consultant company. And here, one thing I noticed is that the work culture wasn't so great. Like a lot of developers left the company after 1 or 2 years or so, and the developers got very quickly replaced.
Hmm.
Wasn't so great. So I worked for that company for like 2 years, and after 2 years, I pretty much recognized no one anymore because every developer got replaced. And like they found better jobs or they just left.
Wow.
And yeah, yeah, it was okayish working for that company. Basically, it was nice to gain some experience. Um, but I noticed that everyone was like working alone on their side. And once, if you wanted to ask for help, people didn't really want to help you because they were busy. Yeah? So, for instance, I was spending sometimes hours just figuring out an issue where a coworker could maybe have helped me and maybe figure out the issue in like 5 or 10 minutes, but he couldn't help me because he was busy on other things, and yeah,
Hmm.
and that was the issue. So it wasn't great. But then I went to Germany. It was actually a similar company. It's also an IT consultant company, but it's much better. Like we actually help each other. We can send messages or we can talk to each other, and people are really really happy to help you. And I noticed that if you work in a team like this, we actually work much more efficiently. Yeah.
I see.
So, for instance, the time I lost doing my own research with the other company, well, I lost a lot of time just doing my own research to figure out why something wasn't working correctly. But by just asking like a team member and getting the answer in 5 minutes, like it's a huge time gain.
So you would say you would definitely like the work culture in Germany a lot better?
Yeah, but my might not be really related to work culture. It might also be I was maybe unlucky where I was working on. It's possible that in other French companies it's much better, but at least where I was working, that's also where I started my trainee. Where I started as a trainee, it wasn't great. Huh? I was also kind of treated as a beginner. That's also something I noticed.
Like something akin to an intern or something?
Yeah. That's what I mean by with trainee internship. Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. The next question I have here is, how important is it to focus on tasks versus something, social-wise, like socializing? Like, in Japan, they go out for drinks and stuff like that.
I think it's important. So the thing is, for instance, in France or in Germany, in France it's a bit different. It's a 7-hour workday. In Germany it's 8-hour workday. But programming for 8 hours straight, it's not possible, huh? Because your brain cannot focus for 8 hours straight. So sometimes we need to take breaks. Personally, I try to usually take 5 minutes break between 30 minutes of programming or so, huh? Just to refocus, to get some energy back.
Right.
And breaks can be, for instance, just sitting on a sofa. Can also be just going outside for a second, just breathing some fresh air, or it can also be socializing. And that's why I believe that socializing on the workplace is important to chat with our colleagues, etc. Because it's also nice for break. We can also treat our colleagues as friends, and we sometimes go out on a restaurant. Like every second month, we go to a restaurant together, huh? And we can have a nice chat, outside of our workplace. Now, since COVID, I'm mostly working from home, so I'm definitely socializing less.
Right.
I'm actually only going back to the company maybe once per month when there's like a meeting, yeah? And so because of that, I'm also taking small breaks a bit differently. I cannot socialize, so I'm going, for instance, outside, or I can sit on the sofa. So I adapted a bit. Yeah.
I see.
Yeah, we don't have a sofa at the workplace, but I have a sofa at home.
Did
nice
you
reflect a bit.
Which one did you enjoy more? Did you enjoy working from home? Did you enjoy working, at the workplace?
I personally prefer working from home because I'm better equipped at home. Like I have a better sofa, better mouse, better keyboard. If I work at a company, sometimes I need to search for a keyboard because someone stole the keyboard. So I have to. Yeah, sometimes I need to work on a 13-inch monitor, which is not ideal. At home I have 27-inch. I have multiple monitors. Like I'm better equipped at home, so I feel like I can be much more productive at home. Now, I have colleagues who told me that sometimes they prefer working at the company because if they work from home, whereas their home becomes their workplace, and they don't want to have that feeling because like you finish work, but you still have that feeling that you're still at your workplace.
Right.
Kinda. Yeah. It's not an issue I experienced yet, but I can definitely understand why that can happen. Huh?
I see. Let's see. Moving on to the next question here. So what are your thoughts on American culture? Is there anything that stands out in particular, or anything that you're curious about?
I actually don't know much about American culture. So I expect American work culture to be pretty similar to German or French work culture, but there are a few things that I noticed that are a bit different in America. Is one, the salary, which can be much higher than in Germany. I've seen people having salaries like 100,000 per year or so, whereas my salary is basically just 40k, like 40,000 per year. So a salary can be much higher in the US. And the one thing is that in Germany, one thing I noticed is that they it's more pro-worker. Huh? So for instance, if a company wants to fire you, they really need to have a valid reason to fire you. So it's for instance, just having like a few days where you didn't feel so great, or so you were not as productive as usual, that's not a valid reason to fire you. It needs to be worse than that. Huh? Because if a company fires you, but the reason you feel like the reason is not valid, you can actually sue the company and ask for money.
Oh.
Yeah. Um, so something I noticed, and that was mostly when I was looking at memes online, is that people have tendencies to hate the human resource department. um, I don't know how it is in Germany in general, but here where I work at, where I never had issues with HR. I never had to visit the HR also, and yeah, the HR is actually liked. That's something I found also quite interesting.
Right, they
Yep.
lean heavily on the HR over here, and once you get fired, it's pretty final.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Pascal. I really appreciate the time you took. Was there anything else you wanted to say to the camera before we end the interview?
Not much, but yeah, thank you for having this interesting interview. It was very interesting.
All right, thank you.